extraordinary journey of resilience, reinvention, and shattering glass ceilings every Saturday morning at 6:30 on 620 WTMJ and anywhere you stream podcasts for What's the Difference with Gene Nadella to discuss business coaching across all industries, featuring successful executives, entrepreneurs, and mentors along the way. This is a story you won't want to miss.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 10:01 and 55 degrees on our way up to 65. Showers ending. Afternoon sunshine from the WTMJ Breaking News Center. I'm Greg Matzik. A key endorsement for a bill to install red light cameras in Milwaukee.
The Safe Streets Save Lives Act would guarantee 5 red light cameras per aldermanic district at the most dangerous intersections in the city, capturing anyone going 15 miles and over the speed limit or running through red lights. Mayor Cavalier Johnson says he wants to make communities safer.
I also would like to be in a position where we didn't need to have something like this. But unfortunately, there are too many people that are out there who make really, really poor decisions, and they put themselves in harm's way, and they also put the greater public in harm's way.
Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
The red light camera legislation includes a 30-day public awareness campaign. State Senator Dora Drake tells our sister station, 1017 The Truth.
When this bill would be signed into law, the fines don't happen right away. We'll be partnering with DOT and the city, and there'll be signage of where those cameras would be set up. And then on top of that, then say you were running late for work and you did the most and you were going 20 miles an hour, you would get a notice in the mail. You wouldn't get a ticket right away.
Senator Drake says the cameras would also help law enforcement identify reckless drivers and vehicles with no license plates. Tense moments on Capitol Hill between Attorney General Pam Bondi and Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois. Bondi facing lawmakers amid questions about political influence over the department. Durbin focused on National Guard troops being deployed to Chicago.
Been on this committee for more than 20 years. That's the kind of testimony you expect from this administration. A simple question as to whether or not that a legal rationale for deploying National Guard troops becomes grounds for a personal attack. I think it's a legitimate question. It's my responsibility. She refuses to answer as to whether she had any conversation with the White House about deploying national troops to my state.
The department has criminally charged one of President Trump's longtime foes and faces White House pressure to prosecute others. Sun Prairie School District electors vote no confidence in their superintendent.
I don't know the answer to that, but I think more information is probably going to be better than less.
Parents say Superintendent Dr. Brad Sarin has eroded their trust over a lack of transparency about an investigation into the former Sun Prairie West High School Dean of Students. Robert Gilkey Messigeyer faces 2 counts of child sexual exploitation and 13 counts of possession of child pornography. The no confidence vote could urge the Board of Education to take official action against the superintendent. Jessica Gatzo, WTMJ News.
And today marks 2 years since Hamas launched its attack on southern Israel, sparking the current war in Gaza. News Nation's Nick Smith.
When Hamas fighters stormed over the Gaza-Israel border, killing and kidnapping as many people as they could. About 1,200 people were killed in their rampage and another 251 kidnapped, including Americans. That includes Eden Alexander, who was just 19 when he was taken and spent 19 months in captivity. Today, he's set to meet with President Trump for a second time since his release as the world waits to see if the White House's latest truce offer will finally bring the remaining 48 hostages home.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red here this morning, with the Dow off about 80 points at 46,615. NASDAQ down about 40 at 22,901. S&P 500 down about 15 points at 6727. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times, 10:05.
I'd like you to listen to a little question and answer session with James Imaging Systems client Preston Clark. He oversees IT services at Creative Business Interiors. Preston, why James?
I do feel like that we are partnered, again, as opposed to being sold to.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
If I need service, they're here almost within 4 hours every time. I've never had an issue where I'm like, where is that guy?
That works for you and the business, right, Preston?
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to worry about it.
Plus, there's IT-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, and digital transformation from James Imaging Systems.
I've got information that I can then go to my superiors with and say, hey, here's how we can save a little bit of money.
And
then I kind of look like the hero, too.
Want to be the hero in your office? Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
When it comes to simple, affordable home improvements, at Les's Glass, you'll find an array of options. Like for bath remodeling, adding a new glass shower door and beveling the edges of your mirrors, or simply having us install new mirrors to any living space in your home can add a touch of elegance and depth that can really turn a room's frown upside down. Or maybe you're thinking new cabinet doors. Before you write that check, find out how we can make your ordinary cabinet doors beautiful with a variety of glass insert options that can be easily installed into your existing wood cabinets and make a world of difference. And before you pay for new windows, call us to see if our affordable insulated glass replacement services can't save you a few bucks. This is Stacy Sinks with Les's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Les's Glass. Les's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lesglassservice.com.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports desk. The Brewers one win away from advancing to the NLCS after slugging their way to a 7-3 win over the Cubs.
Palencia's 0-2 pitch and a fly ball to center. Hit well. PCA's back at the track. Whoa!
A 3-run shot from Jackson Churio. Lane Grindle with the call on WTMJ. Brewers go for a series sweep Wednesday afternoon at Wrigley. A 4:08 first pitch. Quinn Priester will have the start for the Brewers. In the other NLDS matchup, the Dodgers own a commanding 2-0 series lead over the Phillies following a 4-3 win in Philadelphia. NFL action last night. The Jaguars with a last-second touchdown. They knock off the Chiefs 31-28. The Packers resumed the schedule Sunday against the Bengals at Lambeau. And the Bucs opened the preseason with a 103-93 win over the Heat in Miami. Taking a look at your roads, the WTMJ Time Saver traffic update. Major incident here, 94 eastbound at Highway 83. Left lane is blocked due to a crash. That traffic being reduced down to one lane. You got a couple of fire engines that are on site right now. Other vehicles are blocking that lane of traffic to offer some space, but it's all being whittled down to one lane. So 94 eastbound at 83, you are on the brakes as the traffic sort of congests down to one lane. That's going to cost you about 7 minutes if you're working your way downtown. Usual delays, 41-45 southbound. They pick up right around Silver Spring. You should be back to normal speed by the time you get to Burleigh. Northbound delays minimal here. They start just after Watertown Plank Road, and things seem to free up by the time you get past North Avenue West. Showers ending, then some afternoon sunshine. High of 65 today. Chilly tonight with a low of 39. Wednesday's high 60 degrees under sunny skies, cooler temperatures. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high of 62. Partly cloudy on Friday with a high of 65. Right now it's 56 degrees in Fond du Lac, 56 in Prairie du Sac, 55 in Prairie du Chien, and 55 at the Avenue. I'm Greg Matzik. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 10:09.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scafidi and Kristin Brey.
Good morning. Steve is still on vacation. You're going to get sick of me saying that because he was gone all of this week and into next week. But we have a great show for you today. But first, how about them Brewers? Man, that was fun. So as I said yesterday, I hosted the Roast of Milwaukee last night. It went very well. It was not recorded for everyone's sake. You had to be there, but it went really well. It's always fun to get on stage. But as you can imagine, we had a smaller turnout than you would have expected because a very big competing event was happening at the same time. We did finish around 8:45, so I got to get home 4. I think I walked into the house and we were up 7-3. And just, God, this is so fun. Hopefully we just walk in there Wednesday, close it out, move on. But the magic is in the air. And so this has been, we were so lucky as Wisconsin sports fans to just, at least in my lifetime, I know people older than me have definitely lived through periods when we weren't consistently competitive. But right now it is a very fun time for sports because the Bucs are coming back soon. So much to be excited about. But what we're not excited about is the government shutdown. And so at this point, we all know that the government shutdown is basically a fight over healthcare and these ACA subsidies. And the fact that if they are not extended, people who rely on the ACA are going to see their healthcare premiums just skyrocket. And so yesterday, it sounds like President Trump kind of cracked the door open with negotiations. But then he abruptly closed it on Truth Social. And so I guess earlier in the day, he had told reporters, we have a negotiation going on right now with the Democrats that could lead to very good things. And I'm talking about good things with regard to health care. So it was kind of a hopeful sign. And then he shut that down by then going on Truth Social and saying, I'm happy to work with the Democrats on their failed healthcare policies or anything else. But first, they must allow our government to reopen. In fact, they should reopen our government tonight. But it sounds like that they talked to Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, both deny that there were any negotiations happening on with Trump. So it doesn't really seem like we've made much movement at all from the reporting coming out of D.C. And I have no idea who's going to blink first. But what I do know is that not just for ACA recipients, but for everyone, healthcare is getting more expensive. And something that we should all keep our eye on because everything's getting more expensive. Rent, housing. We're going to talk about housing later on today in Wisconsin and a new bill trying to alleviate that. But when we come back, we're going to talk to a policy expert from a DC think tank to talk through what's going on with healthcare costs and what Congress can actually be doing to make them more digestible for all of us. So stay with us on Point Taken.
Well, we decided to develop our own mattress line just, I think, purely from a quality standpoint again.
We wanted to go the opposite way the industry was going. The industry was cheapening things, and we didn't believe in that.
Ben and Arvid Huth, brothers and owners of Penny Mustard Furnishings.
The entire mattress industry has gone to one-sided. We still believe, and I know in my heart, that a two-sided is going to last you longer. You can get more comfort out of it.
That's the reason that we put higher density foam in the mattresses, is so that they're comfortable for a longer period of time. It goes back to just wanting people to be happy, not now, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I want them to look back and say, wow, I bought that a long time ago and I'm still really happy with it. That's true in our mattresses, it's true in our furniture. We don't want you to buy something and 5 years from now, you're like, oh, it's falling apart.
10 years from now, the customer shouldn't have to replace the mattress because it no longer supports them.
They can, but they don't have to.
Right, and that's how we build it.
See more at pennymustard.com.
15, 20 years from now, that mattress is still going to have good support.
Somebody can still use it.
Yes, absolutely.
All types of injury lawyers advertise. Cartoon lawyers, bobblehead lawyers, and folks chasing ambulances with text messages. Our clients don't want or need such lawyers. Our clients know, like, and trust that Pasternak and Zergabel will help in their time of need. I'm Frank Pasternak of Pasternak and Zergabel. Jeff Zergabel and I are excellent personal injury lawyers in our community. If you need help after an injury, go to Pasternak and Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com. That's injurywisconsin.com.
When you're due for tire service, visit richlawns.com for the location nearest you.
We'll give you a free flat tire repair on every tire we install. No questions asked. I'm Brett Matchke with Rich Lawns. You're due for service.
Rich Lawns. Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves with Active Liver from New Nordic. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
For WTMJ contest rules, visit WTMJ.com/contests.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. And as you might have heard, because of the shutdown, at the end of 2025, tax credits that help more than 20 million Americans afford health care coverage are going to expire. And that's going to raise the healthcare costs for some families up to 600%. But health insurance costs in the United States are on track for their biggest jump in at least 5 years across plans. And this is according to multiple surveys. And so this is adding turbulence to an uncertain economy, boosting expenses. So not good. Not good for any of us. So joining us now to walk through both the ACA subsidies and what people are hearing as they're getting mailers from their health insurance policies, but also why everyone's health insurance is going up, is Alex Jaquez, who is the Chief of Policy and Advocacy at Groundwork Collaborative, a DC think tank. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start with the ACA. And so how did we get here? How expensive were the ACA plans before these subsidies that went in? Was it 2022?
What we have right now is about 24 million Americans who get their health insurance through the Affordable Care Act exchanges. And there have always been tax credits that help afford the premiums on these exchanges. In recent years, and when Democrats had control of Congress, they passed what are called enhanced premium tax credits to help families making up to 400% of the federal poverty line afford their health insurance premiums. Now, in the, quote, one big beautiful bill, the GOP budget law that was passed in July, they neglected to extend these premium tax credits, and so they will expire on December 31st. What that means is for 2026, if you are enrolled in the ACA exchanges and get your health care through that program, about 20 million of those 24 million patients are going to lose some of their subsidies. And so we're going to see an average of 114% increase on out-of-pocket premium costs. We're going to see that spike to up to 600% for lower income families. And it's going to push as many as 4 million Americans off their health insurance as they simply won't be able to afford it anymore. And as you mentioned, this is part of a broader problem in American healthcare. This is not new. We pay twice as much for much worse care than our peer countries. Healthcare costs are rising across the board. Under Donald Trump so far, we are outpacing healthcare inflation from the last 2 years by nearly double. It's a problem whether you have an ACA plan or not, and the expiration of these tax credits is going to hurt everybody and raise costs on everybody on their healthcare.
So I have so many different questions, but so one of the things I've been seeing is blaming the ACA. I mean, this is a long time, I don't know, like accusation, is that the Affordable Care Act is the reason why healthcare premiums across the board are higher, and that before the ACA, people could actually afford their healthcare. Is that true? And if it is true, what was it about? Is it just because it mandated so much more coverage where you could get denied prior to the ACA?
Well, I think it's simply a fact that the ACA has dramatically increased the accessibility of healthcare in the country. Our uninsured rate is much lower since before the ACA passed, and whether it's those millions who are getting their health insurance on the exchanges or through Medicaid expansion, it is a fact that more people have healthcare than they did before. What I think some of these requirements that were placed on insurance plans to cover the basic necessities, right? We had plans before the ACA came into place that were essentially, good, cheap and good for you as long as you never had to use them. And what the ACA did is said, look, if you are going to sell health insurance, you are going to need to offer a minimum standard of benefits and care. They're going to be accessible if you're paying for insurance. If you pay for insurance, I think you should be expected to use it if God forbid the time comes to do so. And so, it is true. Health insurance costs have always been higher in this country, largely due to the, mostly private nature of our healthcare system. But the ACA has what is called bent the cost curve. It has slowed the growth of health insurance costs since its inception. Of course, my position and I think many others, and certainly those who are paying for healthcare, is we pay way too much. But
I think we all can agree on that. Employers, individuals, it's expensive to get, especially when you're healthy. pay. You're like, why am I paying $500 a month? And
prescription
copays.
drugs.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
But, I think on net, what the Affordable Care Act has done and what the certainly the subsidies has done to afford these premiums is led to more coverage than we had before.
Okay, so open enrollment begins in less than a month. It begins on November 1st. So insurance companies they're basically already sending mailers out notifying people of what their increased premiums are going to be. So is there a chance that people are going to even with this ongoing fight, that people will see the sticker shock of that and drop their insurance because they're just like, I just can't afford that?
Not only will they, it is happening right now.
Got it.
So all through the month of October, we expect to see these announcements go out from insurance companies. In many cases, these rates have been approved for some months or weeks now at this point to file their adjustments earlier in the summer. And of course, there is still a wait and see. I think you're seeing some notices go out from insurance companies that costs may, be reduced if there is a deal made, or they may increase further if they are banking on Congress coming to a deal. We've seen notices being posted from recipients who are getting their health insurance premium notices for 2026 that are, again, double what they paid last year. And the issue really is, and I think this is why the problem is so acute, is you mentioned that open enrollment period starting on November 1st. That's when people are going to start selecting their plans. That is basically the drop dead time. The Center Budget Office, the independent scoring office in Congress has said and put out an analysis that if no deal is made by November 1st, there is a 0% chance that even extending the enhanced premium tax credits will impact 2026 premiums. So if they want to make it cheaper for 2026 plans, they basically have to act now.
That was something I was not aware of. So basically, whether they do it during the shutdown, the Democrats actually get them to negotiate, or they end the shutdown and they negotiate this afterwards, it's not the end of the year that they have to actually, even though they expire at the end of the year, the deadline's actually November 1st in order to change 2026 costs.
That's exactly right. And CBO put out an analysis saying that even if they went beyond September 30th, which was the end of the fiscal year, they expect about a 50% chance that they may not be able to reduce premiums in 2026 at all. And once you get into that open enrollment period, you really need something extraordinary, some special allowances to be able to make that happen. Insurers are pricing their plans, and they are going to market right now, and people are going to start selecting their plans in November, and that is really when the deadline is. So when you hear Speaker Johnson, who has said this is a December policy issue, I think that is really misleading given the machinations that are in place right now that will impact those premium costs.
Got it. Okay. So then can you explain what the death spiral is? Because I keep seeing this word come up in regards to as people drop off, things get more expensive, and then more people drop off. Is that something that we're also facing?
I think at this point, we see about 4 million Americans who might lose their insurance, of course, out of the 20 million. But yes, that is certainly, if there are, more drop-offs than anticipated, you see, what is called this death spiral, where basically the way insurance works is you want as large and diversified a pool as possible, where you have the, healthy folks who are on your plans basically, make up for those who are using a lot of health care. That's how insurance works kind of across the board. And so if you start taking people out of these pools, these large diversified pools, what insurers call, you're mixing up your risk pools. And then what you end up with is healthy people think that they, these expensive premiums are too much to pay. They stop paying, they get out of the insurance. And you still have sick people who need health insurance, who are then the only ones who are buying insurance, and that can lead to the exit of insurers in many places. And previously, in a number of states where where the risk pools were not adequately calibrated, and we saw some pullouts of some major plans in major exchanges. So you want stability, and you want as wide of a pool covered as possible.
So, final question before we let you go, Alex, but how does this then impact, like someone who's listening to this is like, I'm not on the ACA, this doesn't affect me. How will this affect other healthcare programs, even if you're getting it through your employer? And what are the other things that are making those plans also go up?
So in a number of insurers that play in the marketplace also offer, employer-sponsored insurance. They offer other insurance products as well, and they're going to their losses if indeed they start taking a hit on the marketplace. So 24 million people is quite a large chunk, and I imagine if there are significant changes in turmoil in the ACA marketplaces, that is going to pass through to private insurance as well, where again, we are already seeing insurance premiums go up as healthcare just continues to get more expensive. We just have not seen a slowdown in healthcare costs over the first 10 months of 2025, and I think there's no real expectation that they will go down, because just mechanically, we as a country are getting older. You consume more healthcare. Consuming more healthcare is placing more strain on the system. Prices are continuing to go up. So even if you are not in a marketplace plan, I think this is a issue for insurers across the board who are counting on some of these credits to be able to back up their bottom lines and have people purchase their insurance plans. But also, if you look at kind of the rest of the healthcare agenda from the GOP budget law, the big cuts to Medicaid that are going to impact nursing homes, rural hospitals, children's hospitals. There are a lot of cuts to healthcare, over $1 trillion, about $1.3 trillion, and Medicaid that are going to go into effect over the next 10 years that has, I think, hospital systems, physicians, and insurers extremely concerned.
All right. Well, that is very heavy. Unfortunately, we got to let you go. But Alex Jaquez is the Chief of Policy and Advocacy at Groundwork Collaborative. Thank you so much for joining us today and explaining all of that.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be back after this on Point Taken.
You know the voice.
Fly ball, right field, out of here!
You know the iconic calls.
Fly ball, deep right! Back to back!
And you know he's our Brewers 360 guest on Wisconsin's Morning News. Every Wednesday at 8:45, it's Brewers broadcaster Jeff Levering. Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
WTMJ and Sidex are back with the Bootyville bathroom contest. One lucky listener will win a tub or shower conversion valued up to $10,000. It's easy. Just snap a picture of your scary shower, your terrifying tub, or even just one that you're tired of. And then enter now. Text BOO, B-O-O, to the WTMJ Talk and Text line 855-616-1620, or visit WTMJ.com to submit your picture and see the full contest rules.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
Marty's Pizza in Delafield, open for dine-in, carry-out, or delivery, 7 days a week. If you haven't tasted our legendary pizza yet, I'll tell you what our loyal customers will tell you. You're missing out.
But it's not only pizza. Great salads, subs, and Italian entrees like our mostaccioli or lasagna are must-tries. Covered with 100% mozzarella cheese and baked to perfection. So if you're not cooking tonight, remember Marty's Pizza, right off I-94 and Highway 83 in Delafield. Or order online at martyspizza.net.
Remember, Marty's Pizza. Do you remember when times were good? Well, they're good again. It's as good today as it was in the past. It doesn't get any better than that. Remember, Marty's Pizza.
Right off I-94 and Highway 83 in Delafield.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Kristin. Attorney General Pam Bondi before the Senate Judiciary Committee, clashing with some Democratic senators over National Guard deployments to American cities. ABC's Jay O'Brien talking with House Speaker Mike Johnson on the government shutdown. Democrats want to discuss the continuation of subsidies to help pay for health insurance premiums. Republicans so far have said no.
Why not begin negotiations on that issue right now?
Because the government is closed, and as I've mentioned, that's a December 31 issue. There are lots of conversations and deliberations and discussions right now, even bipartisan amongst members, about necessary changes that would have to be made, pretty dramatic changes, to even have that considered on the floor.
Peace talks between Israel and Hamas have resumed in Egypt on this, the 2-year anniversary of the militant group's surprise attack in Israel that triggered the war in Gaza that has seen tens of thousands of Palestinians killed. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 10:31, 56 degrees, and the sun's starting to peek out in Milwaukee. I'm Greg Matzik. The Wisconsin Department of Justice is asking a judge to pause a voter citizenship verification order. The order would require elections officials to verify the citizenship of all registered Wisconsin voters before the next statewide election in February. Wisconsin law requires voters to certify they are U.S. citizens, but does not require election officials to obtain proof or require voters to present any. A recall for freeze-dried fruit that might contain sharp metal objects. Georgia Nut Company recalling some varieties of its True Fru freeze-dried strawberries sold at CVS, Kroger, Target, and other stores, even online across the United States. No issues have been reported yet. Visit WTMJ.com for more details on which products are affected. And Brewers outfielder Christian Yelich again named a finalist for the prestigious Hank Aaron Award, honoring the most outstanding offensive performer in each league. Yelich, a 2-time recipient, winning in 2018 and 2019. Fans can cast their votes for Yelich online until Sunday, October 12th. All the details online at WTMJ.com. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red here this morning. The Dow is off 100 points at 46,593. NASDAQ down about 160 points at 22,788. And the S&P down about 30 at 6711. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads, a WTMJ Time Saver traffic update. The issue at 94 eastbound and 83. Left shoulder was blocked due to a crash. In fact, they had the left lane blocked for a period of time. It looks like the emergency vehicles are out of the way. You should be able to move freely through that area. However, some residual delay is going to cost you a few minutes if you're heading toward downtown. 4145 southbound, some delays right around Silver Spring. You should weave your way through the construction area and free up right around Burleigh. Northbound delays begin just after Watertown Plank, and you should be back to normal speeds just when you get past North Avenue. Should see some sun eventually after that morning rain, but a cooler high than yesterday. A high of 65 degrees, overnight low 39. Wednesday's high mostly sunny and cooler, a high of 60. Sunny on Thursday, a high of 62. Partly cloudy on Friday, and a high of 65. Right now it's 57 in Genesee, 56 in Gibraltar, 59 in Germantown, and 56 at the Avenue. I'm Greg Matzik, Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 10:34.
Wholesale mulch? No problem. We deliver to residential or wholesale accounts, and we can supply you with whatever volume of the highest quality mulch you need. Nobody around here has more mulch than Erickson's. We'll deliver you a 1-yard pickup truck load all the way up to 100 yards in a walking floor trailer. And if you just need a little bit, swing by and we'll fill up a 5-gallon bucket or two. It's the best mulch you'll find. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential. Visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Our decorative stone is available by the handful for pickup, all the way up to 24-ton load deliveries. And our stone is superlative. We scour the countryside, countrywide, from Arizona to the Carolinas. We search pretty much the whole U.S. of A. to find you easily the best stone selection in southeastern Wisconsin. See a rainbow of decorative stone colors to match any exterior decor. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Networks, streaming services, retail chains, and tech giants are all adding plus to their names. But where did the concept originate? We may be biased, but we think these big wigs found their inspiration for plus at Hassellus Mattress. Hassellus showrooms are employee-free. Give your mattress a try with no pushy sales guy. Plus, our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393. Plus, unbeatable prices on Tempur-Pedic. Plus, free next-day delivery and setup. Plus, free haul away and disposal of your old mattress. Plus, 60-month interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic with approved credit. Plus, a $300 MasterCard gift card with your Tempur-Pedic mattress. Plus, a ruggedly handsome spokesman with a smooth radio voice. Get all this, plus a whole lot more when you shop at Hassellus Mattress. Or maybe we should change our name to Hassellus Plus. Nah. Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at hassellus.com.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You've heard about Tri-County Contracting and their worry-free roof tune-up. You've heard about their instant roof quote. But don't forget, Tri-County Contracting also handles windows. Our project at my home moving right along right now, and the process has been so easy and thorough. It's nice when you can trust the team you're working with and know that they are looking out for you. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and also windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey, missing Steve on this Tuesday. So some breaking news, I guess, at the very top of the show. Molly Beck broke this on the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, and then at the bottom of the hour news, as I was checking my notifications, as we all know that I am addicted to my phone, turns out Democrat Josh Kaul is not going to seek election for governor. He is not going to put his name into the governor's race. He is going to seek re-election as attorney general. So that ends at least one of the statewide names of will he, won't he, that I think a lot of people were waiting to see if he joins, if he would not clear the field, but be an immediate front runner. And so I guess I don't know if that surprises me or not. I think, we got to talk to Josh Kaul last week, and he seemed very invested in the work that the Department of Justice in Wisconsin is doing, especially in these multi-state lawsuits against the Trump administration. And so it'd be curious to have, whether an on the record or off the record conversation with him to see if that work feels more important or unfinished, and if that is why he's decided that he wants to continue that fight instead of run for governor. But he's also young, so it's not that if he is AG for another term that he can't run eventually. He's not Tony Evers. He's not, 73. But that is a big news, I would say. Now, when Dan Bice was here, I think last Monday, the conversation was kind of like, if Josh Kaul doesn't get in, it opens the door for Mandela Barnes to get in, which is the other, as we talked yesterday when Matt Smith was here, the fact that he, despite not having held office since 2022, is in the most recent polling, the front runner. I think getting 14% from Democratic primary voters who took that poll of people who they would like to see run for governor. And so I don't know if that becomes something that we see immediately. I know when he ran for U.S. Senate, I think he announced pretty late. He announced after Sarah Godlewski, after Alex Lazary, after Tom Nelson. I don't know if he announced after Stephen Olikara or not, but he announced pretty late. So, but yeah, so it'll be interesting because I think some of the calculus is also, you look forward 2 years after that, and there's another Senate race with another guy who is not young, and we don't know if Ron Johnson would run for would this be his 4th term? And so because it's a very different job of wanting to be governor versus a U.S. senator. And I think it takes a different skill set to be good at either that don't always necessarily overlap, and a different attitude, character. And so, but I mean, I am seeing kind of the tweet replies right now, and very likely. So maybe we'll have Mandela Barnes back on the show to announce his candidacy later on this year. But interesting development there. Another interesting, I don't know if this is interesting or not. And I was just debating whether or not it was worth bringing up, but since we're doing governor news right now, we might as well talk about it. But when Dan Bice was on the show a week ago with Mary Spicuzza, we were talking about getting biced and the track record of him printing articles that end careers or end campaigns, the most recent being Bill Berrien. He did have an article today about Tom Tiffany and the scrubbing of his current campaign website. And so I guess right now, if you go to his website, it looks pretty moderate. But if you use something called the Wayback Machine, which preserves snapshots of websites, it shows that Tiffany had a webpage as recent as September 17th that listed a bunch of hot button issues and his positions on them. So it included abortion, gun rights, immigration, crime, China. But if you go today, you'll notice that the issues page is gone and it's replaced by, protect what makes Wisconsin great, lower costs for every Wisconsinite. And there's a new solutions page that makes no mention of guns. There's one mention, I guess, of immigration and China, and nothing on the deficit or abortion. And so, I certainly don't think this is groundbreaking as far as a getting biced TMZ type article, because I think this is, I don't know, isn't this what candidates usually do when they have to win statewide? What's more interesting to me is moderating his positions on some of these things during the primary, because usually I feel like sometimes you have to run to the right to win or to the left to win the primary, and then kind of backpedal as you get into the general. And so I always have mixed positions on when elected officials change their positions, because on the one hand, we want these people to be responsive to public sentiment. So like on the case of abortion, whether you personally are anti-abortion or anti-choice or pro-life or whatever you want the terms to use it for, the overall public perception is having access to abortion care should be available. Like most polling shows that, right? And so even if in the past, we have elected officials who have been, as he has, right, promoting 5 or 6 week abortion bans or talking about things that are much more restrictive than what's currently the law in Wisconsin. If they evolve their position because that is where the public is, I think that's what we want them to do. But it's also when articles like this get written or at least called out as far as, is it hypocrisy? Is it just bold-faced lying because you're trying to get elected, but once in office, you would go back on your word? And I guess the part of a journalist is just to call it out, and you can do with the information what you will. But I never think it's as. I think we should give politicians more leniency when it comes to changing their position. And you can look into it, you can test the integrity of it, but I think we want them to be responsive to the public and not just, bulldoze their view through and never be able to be flexible on their position on all these variety of issues and topics and policy, especially once they get more information. So I don't think he officially biced Tom Tiffany, but if you want to use the Wayback Machine, you can see where he was, and now you can go to his website now and see where he is. But certainly interesting to do it this early in the campaign. I will say that. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with more on Point Taken after this.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
All different types of injury lawyers advertise. Cartoon lawyers, bobblehead lawyers, and folks chasing ambulances with text messages. Our clients don't want or need such lawyers. Our clients know, like, and trust that Pasternak and Zergabel will help in their time of need. I'm Jeff Zergabel of Pasternak and Zergabel. Frank Pasternak and I are excellent personal injury lawyers in our community. If you need help after an injury, go to Pasternak and Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com. That's injurywisconsin.com.
Enjoy life at Capri Communities, where senior living's our expertise. Caring staff that help you when you need. Enjoy life at Capri, making friends and memories. Living life to the fullest, you will love your new home. Enjoy life at Capri Communities.
Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. Unfortunately, it's not too early to start thinking about those upcoming heating bills. At Hometown's huge New Berlin showroom, you can compare energy-efficient windows from Anderson, Pella, Marvin, and more. Like me, you'll get a dedicated project consultant to guide you to the products that best fit your home, style, and budget, along with employee carpenters who respect your home. Do what I did. Contact Hometown Windows and Doors today. Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. 414-329-1200 or online at hometownwindows.com.
When I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, every time I come in, it's like a whole new store. It's because new inventory's arriving daily, all kinds of everything. And let me tell you, thrift store prices make buying easy. And helping others at the same time, that's icing on the cake. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Shop smarter with Higher Love Cannabis Company in Menominee, Michigan, just a few seconds across the Wisconsin border. Award-winning, organically grown, quality products you can trust. Don't settle for knockoffs in Wisconsin. Get the real deal at findhigherlove.com/CBD.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey, and all eyes are on, well, they're across the board right now. We have a shutdown. Attorney General Pam Bondi is testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee right now. But on top of all of this, in Egypt, there are indirect peace talks happening this week between Israel and Hamas. Obviously, this comes after last week with Trump introducing that 20-point peace plan. And so I think, I would hope, almost all of us are hoping that this actually leads to some kind of lasting peace deal. And, you know, obviously for rebuilding to begin, the war has to end. And it's also that how that region is probably never going to be the same, because this current iteration of the conflict, the war, depending on who you ask, what word you put into there, was the anniversary of what today is, right? The biggest massacre of Jewish people since the Holocaust. And then the last 2 years have been the worst killing and displacement of Palestinian people since the Nakba of 1948. And so even if this current negotiation is successful, the human tragedy and the geopolitical shifts of these last 2 years are going to be felt for generations. Because while Israel has obviously inflicted enormous blows to Hamas, I mean, this we've also seen other things happening in Iran, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq. Like the whole region has had chaos or conflicts over these last 2 years. But it's the first time, at least in my lifetime, that it feels like Israel's global standing has been dramatically deteriorated. If you think about the fact that support for Palestinian rights and statehood have greatly increased, with more than, I think, a dozen additional countries recognizing Palestine now. But while Palestinians in Gaza are displaced, hungry, and there is basically just rubble left from the images that we see of what Gaza looks like. And so I don't know what happens from here. I am not a geopolitical expert. I am not a Middle East expert. So much of what being a bystander in America has felt like, even one who works in media, is constantly feeling like I don't have the right words. And like talking about this issue at all is just to be surrounded by metaphorical landmines, because you, like, no matter what you say, it feels like you've picked the wrong side, or you didn't say enough, or you didn't include the full context of what's been a 75-year conflict, or you called it a conflict instead of an occupation. And it also just feels like we're being here, we're reliant on the information that actually gets out. That is, depending on who's getting the information out, is it propaganda? Is it tainted? Is it just, the journalists who actually can report they're polling. It's just like we have imperfect information. And so trying to talk intelligently about this is really hard. I have been the first one to admit that. I think Steve would say the same thing. It's like, it feels hard to have the right thing to say here without ostracizing people, without being blatantly wrong about things. But in reality, I think the only thing that is true is just watching the human tragedy of these last 2 years on our cell phones has been horrible. It's been horrible. Like the October 7th was 10 days. I was 10 days postpartum. I had just given birth. And so like pumped full of hormones, and I would be up at all hours of the night with Frankie, and I would scroll on my phone, and I would just be inundated with the images of what was happening, and like weep. Because, you can argue that humans were not made to know everything that's going on in the world and have a war live streamed through your phone. And so it's hard to both hold the humanity and understand what is going on there, but not let that, like, in the helplessness of not being able to do anything about it, become callous to the situation. And so that's basically, like I said, it's always hard to talk about this topic, but I don't feel like you can have this anniversary today without at least acknowledging the human toll that has happened. And as we continue to hope that progress will be made in these negotiations, and so the region can hopefully start to rebuild and start to move forward. So on that heavy note, we will take another break and then wrap up the first hour of today's show.
Does your bathroom belong in a haunted house? Or maybe it's just time for a refresh. WTMJ and Sidex are back with the beautiful bathroom contest. One lucky listener will win a tub or shower conversion valued up to $10,000. It's easy. Snap a pic of your scary shower, terrifying tub, or even just one you're tired of, and enter now at WTMJ.com. Sidex makes it easy to go from fright to fabulous. It's Oktoberfest at Fleet Farm, with big fun in store for the whole family. Don't miss our Toyland opening at 7 a.m. Saturday, October 11th, where the first 125 customers will get our free annual Toyland toy. Along with toys, kids can get their hands on some real big rigs at our Touch a Truck event from noon till 3. And be sure to enter our pretzel count contest for a chance to win a Fleet Farm gift card. Stop in and celebrate Oktoberfest with us all month long. It's our way of thanking you for shopping Fleet Farm.
WTMJ's Julia Fellow for Appliance Gallery on Wisconsin Avenue in Milwaukee, home to the state's most up-to-date luxury appliance showroom, featuring top brands like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Bosch, GE Cafe, and more. They work seamlessly with your designer or contractor. Customize with colors from Blue Star and True Residential. As a small family-owned business with one location, they handle everything from start to finish. Visit ApplianceGalleryWI.com or stop in today.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Patrick and Monica initially chose a bank to get pre-approved and provide financing for the purchase of their first home. But they were getting a bad feeling when a week after their offer was accepted, the bank still hadn't locked in their rate, nor had the appraisal been ordered. Monica shared her concerns with a friend who happened to be a multi-time Accunet client. That led to Monica connecting with one of our senior loan consultants the same day, and after gathering some information and reviewing options, we locked in their rate right then and there with loan costs $3,600 lower than what the bank had quoted. The appraisal was ordered right away too, and the loan closed on time just 3 weeks later. We also noticed an oversight in the contract that led to a $3,000 credit from the seller. You can get a generic pre-approval and average or worse service from a bank, or you can get the kind of fast service, advice, attention to detail, and savings that made Monica and Patrick Accunet's latest raving fans. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
When you've been injured, you need a winning team on your side. Gruber Law Offices will fight for the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today, a proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Siding Unlimited. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. At 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
All right, that first hour flew by. When we come back from the top of the hour news, we're going to be talking to Dr. Marcus Brower, who is the head of the Diversity of Science Institute at UW-Madison. And I'm going to talk to him because as DEI across the board, including at all the UW campuses and UW-Madison, different DEI programs are getting cut. What the difference is when we talk about diversity science and why he is or is not worried about his work continuing to thrive. So stay with us. But first, the news.
The Wisconsin retirement system impacts over 690,000 people, including police, firefighters, teachers, and UW employees. Join Annex Wealth Management and WTMJ's Steve Scafidi for a free webinar. Understand your WRS potential on Tuesday, October 21st at 3:30 p.m. Learn how your WRS pension fits into your financial portfolio and planning. The Annex Financial Planning team is experienced with WRS pensions and holistic financial planning. Register at annexwealth.com/events. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. That's Annex Wealth Management.
Hey, if you love true, authentic Mexican food, I highly recommend you stop at the Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford today. WTMJ's John Mercure here. The Mine Shaft is the most affordable, family-friendly dining restaurant, and the Tuesday all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet is just $9.99. Whoa, that's incredible. Desserts are buy one, get one free. Kids and grandkids under 3 eat for free. Today from the kids' menu. They'll love that huge game room quietly set aside from the dining area wherever you live. It's worth the drive to the Mine Shaft today for the all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet, just $9.99. Excelente. Wednesday, the all-you-can-eat haddock fish fry is $7.99. That's a crazy low price. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford, just off Highway 41 near the EAA in Oshkosh, 2 locations, both fantastic. No need to cook today. Just walk in, relax, and enjoy the all-you-can-eat Tuesday Mexican buffet for under $10. Check it out, mindchefrestaurant.com.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns. It's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
We've seen a significant uptick in the number of gasping customers in this 12-foot radius at Penny Mustard.
This is where we display the Joni sofa.
Now that's a gasp-worthy sofa.
You'd never know something this strong and beautiful could be so comfortable. Was that you?
Oh no, it's contagious.
Come see the Joni sofa, American-made with Fortress hardwood frame, ultra-high-density cushions, and hundreds of fabric and leather options, starting at $19.13 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Your neighbors are talking. Did you see their siding? Yikes. That drafty window? It's basically air conditioning. From nature. Don't be the scary house on the block this fall. Call Exterior Pros and Baths and get $3,000 off your roofing, siding, windows, or bath project. No tricks, just treats. That's 262-800-4274 or click your way to extpros.com. Fall in love with your home again. Trust the pros.
Breaking news as it happens. Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 11:01, it's 60 degrees. Today, the showers are coming to an end, and we're expecting afternoon sunshine with a high of 65. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Tiff Pua. Decision Wisconsin, Attorney General Josh Kaul will run for re-election.
Kaul will seek a third term, ending speculation that he was planning to run for governor. He was first elected as the state's top law enforcement official in 2018 and won re-election in 2022. While in office, Kaul successfully pushed the state Supreme Court to strike down the state's abortion ban this year that was put back into effect after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The general election will be held in November of next year. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
In the Sun Prairie Area School District,
how are you going to build that trust? That's the question. Your incremental information that you sheepishly put on your website about the current investigation, that's laughable.
Parents expressing outrage over the arrest of former Sun Prairie West High School Dean of Students. Robert Gilkey Meisegeyer faces 2 counts of child sexual exploitation and 13 counts of possession of child pornography. School district electors voted no confidence in Superintendent Dr. Brad Cyron over a lack of transparency about the investigation. The vote can urge the Sun Prairie Board of Education to take official action against Cyron, like a performance review or discipline. A national campaign to reduce gun violence is advocating for local change. Guns Down America is encouraging Great Lakes regional businesses to pledge local investments and ban guns from their stores. Executive Director Hudson Munoz tells WTMJ's Point Taken.
Neighborhoods that are more socially connected have 21% less murders. You see 20% less motor vehicle theft in more connected communities. Neighborhood cohesion is one of the strongest deterrents for burglary, and nonprofits that are locally focused and involved create those stronger communities.
Munoz says 8 Wisconsin businesses have joined the pledge so far and hopes for more to join by Small Business Saturday in November. Amidst the pending deployment of Texas National Guard troops to Chicago, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi clashed with Illinois senior senator at a hearing of the Senate Judiciary Committee.
Why do you want to keep this secret?
Illinois Senator Dick Durbin pressed the Attorney General for details on the deliberations leading up to the deployment.
I am not going to discuss any internal conversations with the White House with you.
Pam Bondi also refused to lay out any legal rationale the Justice Department has crafted for sending in the National Guard, and she accused the top Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee of allowing crime in Chicago to fester.
If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
And if you can't make it to Game 3 of the NLDS in Chicago tomorrow, the Brewers want you to join the party here at home. They're hosting a free watch party at Davidson Park on Wednesday. Brewers President of Business Operations, Rick Schlesinger, tells WTMJ.
We'll have music, big screens, and a lot of pomp and circumstance to get people excited. We're also going to have food trucks, tailgate games. We'll have a DJ there. Our 4-1 Force will be there taking photos and greeting fans.
Fans are encouraged to arrive by 3 o'clock. First pitch for the Brewers and Cubs game is set for 4:08. Time for news about your money. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything is down on the board today. Your Dow is down 192 points to 46,502. The S&P 500 is down 30 points to 6,709. And the NASDAQ is down 151 points to 22,789. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:05.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
What makes Hasselus mattress different?
Aside from employee-free showrooms, free next-day delivery and haul away, and way too low prices on Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, and Serta Perfect Sleeper?
Yeah, besides that.
Well, Hasselus is locally owned.
You mean your franchise is locally owned?
We're not a franchise. Every showroom is owned and managed by the same family. So, when you shop at Hasselus, your money stays right here. And through Monday, our family wants to give you a $248 credit towards a new Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, and Serta Perfect Sleeper just for shopping local.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Our 43 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393.
I like that.
Try and buy with no pushy sales guy.
I love that.
Free next day delivery too.
Thanks.
For what?
For being different.
Shop local and enjoy a $248 credit through Monday at Hasselus Mattress. Open 9 to 9. Find a no-hassle, employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com.
Hey, this is Steve Scafidi for Advent. I had some snoring issues that kept my wife up at night. That led to poor sleep and a lot of tired mornings on the radio, and nobody wants that, trust me. But it's simply, my nose wasn't working the way it should. I decided to go to Advent for a quick 30-minute visit, one of their great facilities, talk to a bunch of their doctors. They really put me at ease. After a really simple sleep study at home, in my own bed, they determined the root cause of my problem had to do with my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle, so I went to see Advent. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, and my wife and I are both back to sleeping through the whole night. The best sleep we've ever had, that could be you. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your life and your nights a whole lot better, go to AdventKnows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows, when you breathe well, you live better.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers are one win away from advancing to the NLCS after slugging their way to a 7-3 win over the Cubs in Game 2 of the NLDS. Jackson Churio's 3-run homer in the fourth broke the game open, one of 3 critical long balls for the Crew.
Andrew Vaughn hit a game-tying 3-run home run in the first. William Contreras hit a solo shot in the second. Each of the Brewers' home runs on the night came with 2 outs. Brewers manager Pat Murphy.
Sometimes that happens for us during the season. Sometimes we have to win other ways. But the key is you got to find a way.
On the mound, 7 Brewers pitchers limited the Cubs to just 4 hits.
They know how to bounce back. And that relentless kind of behavior is, a separator.
Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
The Brewers go for the series sweep Wednesday afternoon at Wrigley with a 4:08 first pitch. And the Bucks opened the preseason with a win over the Heat, 103-93. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Now, we have a few disabled vehicles on the system, but everything is out of the way, so they're not impacting traffic or your ride. And we're starting to see slowdowns, particularly 41 South between Fond du Lac and Good Hope. You're going to be tapping the brakes through there, but everything else clears up after that. Stay safe on the roads, everyone. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, those showers are coming to an end, and we're expecting afternoon sunshine, a high of 65. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 39. Wednesday, mostly sunny and a lot cooler, a high of 60. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high of 62, and we stay in the 60s for Friday, partly cloudy with a high of 65. Saturday, mostly sunny, and the highs get back up to 73 degrees. Right now in Madison, it's 60. In Waukesha, it's 59. In Green Bay, it's 61. And in Milwaukee, partly cloudy and 60 degrees. I'm Tiff Bua. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:09.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scafidi and Kristin Brey.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to the 11 o'clock hour of Point Taken. And, you know, one of the fun things about this job is that you start to have friends who become helpful when getting ideas for guests to have on the show. So I had a friend text me a couple weeks ago and say, I just saw a presentation of someone who I definitely think you should get on your show. He was so interesting. And his name is Dr. Marcus Brower, and he was invited to talk to the West Suburban Milwaukee chapter of AAUW. That was where my friend saw him speak. But he is the executive director of the Institute for Diversity Science at UW-Madison and is a team scientist with the Behavior Change for Good initiative through the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School. And so what is the diversity of science? I'm very excited to talk to him about that. Welcome to the show, Dr. Brower.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so I'm excited about this because, you know, just this week, I read that UW cuts Department of Equity, Inclusion, and Employee Well-Being, which was a department that helped retain and supported people of color and LGBTQ people. And then today, I read that the universities of Wisconsin students are no longer going to be required to take an ethnic or cultural studies class. And in general, this is all under the political environment where the Trump administration has threatened to withhold funding from universities and organizations that prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion. So in that political environment, where does diversity science live?
I think diversity science is the answer to the problems we have right now.
Okay.
For many, many years, diversity initiatives, pro-inclusion initiatives were not evaluated. So they may have worked or they may not have worked, but we wouldn't have been able to find out because they were not evaluated. And I think there's sort of a new development that happened in the last 10 years where there are more and more people speaking up, hey, we need evidence-based methods. We need to find out which of these initiatives work and which of these are ineffective, and some of them even may be counterproductive. So we need to conduct rigorous scientific evaluation studies. We need an empirical approach to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And then actually we can move forward and do things that actually have an impact. So I think you mentioned that political climate. I think we're currently taking a step back and we're saying, okay, maybe we have to do this differently and we have to do something that I would call diversity science or some rigorous data-driven approach to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I think this is where my institute, which is the Institute for Diversity Science and similar initiatives are located right now.
So basically, it's the diversity of science is rigorously researching what works and what doesn't work when the end goal is inclusion or diversity?
It could be anything. It could be we have discrimination in the criminal justice system, in the educational systems. I don't know, black kids get suspended at a higher rate than white kids for the same transgression. We know that doctors talk less long to black patients and manage their pain less effectively than white patients. We know that there's discrimination in employment, the same CV with the same quality and the same person having the same qualifications is less likely to be invited for a job interview if they're black or brown than if they're white, if they have a disability, if they have a foreign accent, et cetera, if they're recent immigrants. We know that there's discrimination in housing. And we know, as you mentioned, inclusion. We know that some of these settings, it's not so much acts of discrimination, it's actually more like lack of inclusion that really affects the well-being and the success of individuals from marginalized groups. And that's what sort of diversity science is about. And just sort of to explain how we go about this, usually we try to find a setting where we can implement a pro-diversity, pro-inclusion initiative, and then we randomly assign units, we call them units, to experimental conditions. So these could be individuals, but it could also be classrooms, or it could be teams in a company. It could be different parts, factories of a large multinational company, et cetera. And then we randomly assign teams, units, individuals to experimental conditions. And then we implement that pro-diversity initiative in a randomly selected half of those. And then we measure outcomes 3 months later, 6 months later. And if our pro-diversity initiative is effective, well, we should observe a number of things. We should observe higher job satisfaction. We should observe reduced turnover among employees belonging to marginalized groups. In educational settings, we should observe better grades, higher six-year graduation rate among students from marginalized groups. In healthcare settings, we should observe better outcomes on all sorts of health outcomes, from infant mortality to longevity, et cetera. So it is possible to evaluate pro-diversity initiatives. The problem is that we haven't done that very much in the last 30 years. And I think this is what some people revolt against.
And so what was the criteria for, because I was just having this conversation. It's like DEI was such a umbrella, all-encompassing statement that meant different things if you were a private company, if you were at the government, if you were in the school. And so how were those programs originally developed, and where did they go wrong?
I think it was a very natural process, and it happens in other domains as well. I think usually people start out, observe a problem, they're very well intentioned, and then they go ahead and develop a program. But the problem is they sometimes lack the adequate training or the adequate background in what you need to have, what you need to know in order to really change human behavior. And I mean, I'm a psychologist, I'm a behavioral scientist. I've done this for 35 years. We develop behavioral intervention, and then we test if they're effective or not. So we know something about how to change people's beliefs, how to change people's attitudes, but most importantly, how to change their behaviors. And where the problem comes in, that there are just too many people who think they're experts on that. Oh, I talk to other people. I have anecdotal evidence. I know how to change, how to get people to behave differently. I know how to have an impact. And the problem is, very often these intuitions are actually not correct. They're in the health domain. I think we had that for many years, where people just created posters, and then actually these posters were perfectly ineffective or sometimes even counterproductive. Teaching was the same thing. There was a recent movement of, hey, we need evidence-based practices in teaching. I don't know how to teach kids, how to learn how to read, etc. So I think there, in many domains, it starts out with people very well-intentioned and having their heart at the right place, starting initiatives, but maybe then where things go wrong is that these initiatives are then not being evaluated, are not being rigorously tested. And some people say, oh, we don't have time to do this. We have this initiative. We have a problem right now. We don't have the time to evaluate some pro-diversity initiatives. And I have to say, I actually think that is incorrect. I think sometimes we went way too fast, and now we have a result that there's a certain backlash, and people are asking, hey, is this really necessary? There are huge resources that are being invested in these initiatives, and we actually don't know if they work or if they don't know. So I think it's a very natural development that people who are very well-intentioned start out coming maybe from a political activism side of things, propose these initiatives, and then after a while, some people look at this and say, hey, we really need to know if these things work or don't work.
Got it. We're talking to Dr. Marcus Brauer, who's the executive director of the Institute for Diversity Science. Let's take a break, and when we come back, I want to hear what the reaction is when you give these presentations, especially to people who might bristle at the word or the term DEI. So stay with us on Point Taken.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on gallon selected varieties Prairie Farms white milk, $3.99. 18 to 24.6 ounce selected varieties Vandy Camp's fish, $4.49. 9.5 to 10.75 ounce selected varieties Hostess mini donuts, $1.99. 16 to 24 ounce selected varieties Ragu pasta sauce, 2 for $5.
I am starving.
Oh, no. Never walk into a Century when you're hungry.
Unless it's free sample day. Ooh, oh, pizza, yes. I'd love to try that one.
My husband thinks he can make a meal out of grocery store samples.
Need to wash this down. I think I see someone handing out samples in the liquor department.
Geez, can we focus on our list?
What's this?
It says you can win 2 tickets to Green Bay's home game against Chicago on December 7th.
Or autographed footballs, or a 4-pack of Green Bay Hall of Fame tickets.
You have to enter through Century's Facebook or Instagram.
I'll be entering this on my phone in the deli next to that cheese sample station.
Enter by November 12th.
Bring every detail of your world into clear focus with personalized eye care at Shopko Optical. Vince Vitrano here. The experienced and caring team of eye care professionals at Shopko provide comprehensive eye exams tailored to your unique vision needs. Need glasses, contacts, both? From expert care to the perfect prescription eyewear for your lifestyle. Get everything in one convenient visit. Call Shopko Optical or visit shopko.com to schedule your exam. Shopko Optical. Partners in your eye care.
Ho, ho, ho! Don't let Christmas shopping sneak up on you. It's Toyland time at Fleet Farm. We've stocked up on the hottest toys from brands like Lego, Barbie, Melissa and Doug, John Deere, and more. And get ready, our annual toy giveaway happens at 7 a.m. Saturday, October 11th, where the first 125 customers will get a free Toyland toy. Check out our selection of all things under the tree at the best prices guaranteed at Fleet Farm. And don't forget to build the kids' wish list from our Toyland catalog at fleetfarm.com.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. We're talking to Dr. Marcus Brower, Executive Director of the Institute for Diversity Science at UW-Madison, talking about the empirical research methods to actually find out when programs work, why they work. And so, like we addressed before, Doctor, the environment for anything DEI is not great. And so when you have these presentations, you do like I said, I found out about you because you had a presentation at the AAUW, and my friend saw it, thought it was fascinating. So when you are giving these presentations to a variety of people, what is the typical reaction, and do people still bristle even with the word diversity in the title?
I generally get very positive reactions. I give a lot of talks all over Wisconsin, chambers of commerce, UW Extension, et cetera. And generally, the reactions are very positive, partly because Wisconsinites are incredibly nice and respectful, partly because they like my data-driven approach. And I have to admit that the fact that I'm old, white, and male probably also contributes to the fact that I'm saying certain things about DEI that are more easily acceptable. But I do want to point out that generally, people from both sides of the aisle agree on many, many things. And they agree on, for instance, on the fact that discrimination is not acceptable. Everybody should have a fair chance, regardless of their background, whether they're from a rural background or an urban background, regardless of their skin color. People with disabilities deserve special accommodations. People with various religious identity should be protected. There should be no anti-Semitism, and there should be no anti-Muslim, anti-Arab discrimination. So many people agree on the fact that there should not be discrimination, that everybody deserves a fair chance, and that we should remove sort of systemic forms of injustice, systemic barriers that prevent certain people from succeeding. So there's a lot of agreement on that part. And then there's another part, and when I give talks to like chambers of commerce, there are a lot of small business owners in the audience. We have a worker shortage in Wisconsin, and what they want to know, how do I fill the openings that I have in my small company? And they would be incredibly happy to have people from Milwaukee and Racine take jobs in their company. And what they want to know, how do I create an environment, a work environment, where I can keep these people and where these people don't start the job and then 3 months later start looking for a different job. So what they don't want is abstract things, discussions on implicit bias or not incredibly effective in that context. Blaming people is not incredibly effective. But what they want to hear is, tell me concretely, Marcus, what should I do in my company to create a work environment where people from different backgrounds can work together and can strive and can succeed and have high job satisfaction. And I'm providing these answers, and generally people are very satisfied and are very nice to me and respectful, and there are no negative reactions.
Oh, that Wisconsin nice, right? But where do you think people disagree? Like you just said that most people you talk to agree that discrimination is bad. Where do you see people disagreeing these days?
I think the biggest disagreement is how we take history into account. I think there are some people who say, okay, there are certain people in our society, they have been disadvantaged for 300 years. Maybe they need an extra help for the injustices that they have experienced in the past 300 years. And then there are other people who say, no, even though that was unfair, we can't now bend over backwards. We can't have reverse discrimination. And what we have to do is just have to be fair and equitable from now on, and we have to give everybody the same chance. And I think this is one point of agreement, and this feeds into affirmative action. And should you recruit the minority candidate, if there are two candidates, one is a minority candidate, one is not, who are equally qualified. So I think this is a point of agreement, but I think it's both positions are acceptable. None of them stupid, but both are founded in solid values. And if we can have a respectful discussion about that, I think we can move forward.
Got it. All right. Well, if people are interested in learning more about your work or the Institute for Diversity Science or having you come speak, where can they get more information?
There's a website, our Institute for Diversity Science, IDS. So the website is ids.wisc.edu. My name, Marcus Brower, is right on that website. There's also a donate button if you're interested in supporting that type of research. But if you want to contact me for a presentation, please feel free to reach out.
All right. Thank you so much for your time today, Doctor.
Thank you.
All right. Dr. Marcus Brower, Executive Director of the Institute for Diversity Science. Super interesting. I'd like to hear more of those studies. All right. We'll come back after this on Point Taken.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ's Steve Scafidi, and Loyal Family Renovations. They saved the day after a brutal storm in Oak Creek. Hail damage, yeah, I had a lot of it. But Jeff, Jake, and the whole team, absolute pros, made the entire process smooth as can be. Let's be honest, not everyone knows how to deal with adjusters. They handled all the questions, quick answers, top-notch customer service. In just 2 days, my roof was done. If storm damage hits, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com.
Matt LePay for Steinhoffels. Steinhoffels is a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Since 1934, Steinhoffels has been Wisconsin's furniture and mattress destination for quality selection and service. For over 90 years, Steinhoffels has helped Wisconsinites create the homes of their dreams and is 100% employee-owned. Steinhoffels has the largest selection of all the latest styles and all the best mattress brands. You'll find something for every style and every budget. Shop in-store or online at steinhoffels.com. Relax, it's Steinhoffels.
Does your bathroom belong in a haunted house? Or maybe it's just time for a refresh. WTMJ and Sidex are back with the beautiful bathroom contest. One lucky listener will win a tub or shower conversion valued up to $10,000. It's easy. Snap a pic of your scary shower, terrifying tub, or even just one you're tired of. And enter now at WTMJ.com. Sidex makes it easy to go from fright to fabulous.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
What's on Tap with Sandy Max, keeping you updated on culture and creativity.
The Wisconsin Film Office. We can say it out loud. It's going to happen. Academy Award winner John Ridley.
So I'm glad that Wisconsin is getting in the game. I hope they stay in the game. Wisconsin is great because it has so many different looks. It has so many different places. It has places that are untouched. It has places that are incredibly modern.
What's on Tap with Sandy Max. Weeknights at 6 on WTMJ.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. Steve is on vacation. And it's funny, I was excited to have our previous guest, Dr. Marcus Brower, on because he is taking a very scientific approach to talking about getting results. And then I had someone text in on saying that they were like, you lost me. I'm gonna come back when Steve gets back. And it's like, for some people, it does feel like we can't even talk about the word diversity or discrimination or any of those words, and just immediately people just tune out because they don't want to hear the science behind it. They just think it's immediately woke. So I don't know how we get those people, but it is encouraging to know, at least from Dr. Brower's experience, that when he gives these presentations, that most people do agree, and that we agree that people should not be discriminated against, and that if we actually want a meritocracy, it means that it means no matter what your background is, you shouldn't be judged on your skin color or your gender or your first language. If you can do the job, you can do the job. And how we get more of that is a good thing. And it is good to have science, empirical research that shows that. All right, news is next.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Despite legal challenges to deploy National Guard members to cities, President Trump now vowing to invoke the Insurrection Act. Illinois governor suing to block plans to send Texas National Guards to Chicago. ABC's Karen Travers has more.
He really seemed to up the stakes yesterday, saying that he would consider using the Insurrection Act if he is getting blocked in court and getting blocked by state and local officials. That is very different than what we've heard from him in the last couple of months, where he said he would do that if there was insurrection happening.
Attorney General Pam Bondi testifying today at a Senate hearing, pushing back on questions about troop deployments. Today marks 2 years since the Hamas October 7th attacks. Israelis holding vigil for the remaining hostages. Talks between Israel and Hamas delegations continuing for a second day, trying to finalize the U.S. peace proposal. Hurricane Priscilla nearing a Category 3, churning in the Pacific just off the west coast of Mexico, and a new tropical storm has formed in the Atlantic. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:31. I'm Tiff Pua. A teenager arrested after a deadly crash in Appleton. It happened in the early morning hours of October 4th near the I-41 North off-ramp and North Richmond Street. A drunk driver was speeding and failed to stop at a red light, hitting another car that burst into flames. The driver of the second car died from their injuries at the hospital. 18-year-old Carter Green of Larson, Wisconsin, was arrested and faces charges of first-degree reckless homicide and OWI causing injury. The Milwaukee community will weigh in on a bill that would place red light cameras at intersections across the city. The hearing on the Safe Streets, Save Lives Act, or Senate Bill 375, would place 5 red light cameras in each aldermanic district. The bill would expire after 5 years. State Senator Dora Drake says the traffic injuries and fatalities in Milwaukee have surged 86% since 2012, contrasting with a 6% decrease statewide. First-time offenders captured driving recklessly by the cameras would receive a warning letter in the mail and then tickets for any following offenses. Senator Drake says the cameras would also help law enforcement identify reckless drivers in vehicles with no license plates. The meeting is going on right now at the Summerfest grounds. And do you need a ride to Game 3 of the NLDS in Chicago? Then grab a ticket on the Brewers Express. The Brewers are partnering with Amtrak to get fans down to Wrigley Field for Wednesday's game. Amtrak Hiawatha Train 332 will be decked out as the Brewers Express and is scheduled to leave downtown Milwaukee at 8:05 tomorrow morning with a stop at Mitchell Airport along the way. Fans can expect appearances from Bernie Brewer, the famous Racing Sausages, Barrelman, and the 414, along with other team surprises. Tickets must be purchased through Amtrak for the Hiawatha Train 332, leaving from Milwaukee's intermodal station at 8:05 tomorrow morning. Time for news about your money. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything's still in the red on your boards this morning. The Dow is down 160 points to 46,531. The S&P 500 is down 26 points to 6,713. And the NASDAQ is down 143 points to 22,801. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. So we still have a few disabled vehicles out on the road. Some of them have been out there since 7 o'clock this morning. But again, everything is off on the shoulders. It is out of traffic. Everything is moving smoothly. Stay safe out there, everyone. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. We're looking toward afternoon sunshine with a high of 65 today. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 39. For your Wednesday, mostly sunny and cooler, a high of 60. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high of 62. And Friday, we stay in the 60s, partly cloudy with a high of 65. Saturday is the pick day, mostly sunny with a high of 73. Right now in Fort Atkinson, it's 61. In Dundee, it's 62. And in Milwaukee, it's partly cloudy and 60 degrees. I'm Tiff Bua. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:34.
Ooh, something smells good.
Let's see. Melt 2 sticks of butter and add sugar.
Ben, what are you doing?
I'm cooking Thanksgiving dinner.
What? It's way too early for that.
I know, Arvid, but I just can't wait to serve a big family meal on the Flay table from Penny Mustard.
Oh, I love the Flay table. The design is so sleek and simple, yet oh so perfect.
Mix in 2 cups of peanut butter and strained beets.
The Flay's strong Midwest craftsmanship means you'll be serving family feasts on this table for generations.
Half a cup of mayonnaise.
And it's expandable. So as your family grows, the Flay table grows too.
And just a dash of Tabasco.
Hold on. What recipe are you making?
Recipe? What's a recipe?
The American-made solid wood Flay table paired with 4 Kendall chairs with your choice of fabric or leather starting at $68.71 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Tastier versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Hey, if you love true, authentic Mexican food, I highly recommend you stop at the Mine Chef restaurant in Hartford today. WTMJ's John Mercure here. The Mine Chef is the most affordable, family-friendly dining restaurant, and the Tuesday all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet is just $9.99. Whoa, that's incredible. Desserts are buy one, get one free. Kids and grandkids under 3 eat for free. Today from the kids' menu, they'll love that huge game room quietly set aside from the dining area wherever you live. It's worth the drive to the Mine Chef today for the all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet, just $9.99. Excelente. Wednesday, the all-you-can-eat haddock fish fry is $7.99. That's a crazy low price. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford, just off Highway 41 near the EAA in Oshkosh. 2 locations, both fantastic. No need to cook today. Just walk in, relax, and enjoy the all-you-can-eat Tuesday Mexican buffet for under $10. Check it out, minechefrestaurant.com.
There's something that will never not be funny about John Mercure saying "Excelente" to me. All right, welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. Previously, we were talking about some of the things that everyone can agree on, and now I think we're going to shift to something also that everyone can agree on, is that we are in a housing crisis, both at the national level and in Wisconsin. It has grown to epic proportions over the last 5 years. Housing prices have continued to climb year after year, with the average U.S. home today selling for 25% more than in January of 2020. But that doesn't even tell the full picture, because in 1980, the median home in the U.S., so that was 6 years before I was born, sold in the U.S. for roughly $64,000. By 2000, the median home was $165,000. And today, the median home sells for more than $412,000. And that's not even talking about what the rental market looks like. Madison, rents up 47% over the last 5 years. Milwaukee, rents gone up 28% in the last 5 years. So whether it's apartments or houses, we need more of it so that people can actually afford to have a place. And so we now welcome Wisconsin Representative Ahmad Rivera Wagner, who recently introduced not only a bill, but a bipartisan bill that is getting some momentum on one way to address the housing shortage in Wisconsin. Welcome to the show, Representative.
Thank you so much for having me, and you did such a great job of describing the crisis we're facing. So maybe you should run for office.
Oh, well, yeah, we've talked about that before. I think I have too many skeletons in the closet at this point. I've said there's too many hours of me talking on the radio that someone's AI will find something that will get me biced. So let's talk about what the bill is that you introduced and how it would work.
So this is Assembly Bill 454, and just to give some early context, the reason why I'm really passionate about this bill is I grew up raised by a single mom, and we were homeless for the early part of my life. And one of the things that changed my life, that took me from being a homeless kid to working in the halls of the Capitol, was a program called Habitat for Humanity. And this is literally where a nonprofit works for a local municipality, and they work with perfect strangers where you don't ask who they vote for or what faith they are or where they come from. They literally build the house to help a family like mine. So with perfect strangers, me and my mom actually built the house that my mom still lives in to this day that changed the trajectory of our lives. I went on to become the first person in my family to go to undergrad and grad school. I ended up being involved in politics to make sure they were more reflective of people like me and my family. But that Habitat experience really showed me what's possible when you actually focus on the issues and improving the material conditions of people's lives, and you take the politics out of it. And so this bill is reflective of that work. And in fact, the Habitat for Humanity Wisconsin is backing this bill, so it feels like a full circle moment. The most simple understanding of this bill is that we create zero interest loans to make housing more affordable for up to 100% of median income buyers, meaning that in, for example, Brown County, if you make 100% of AMI, area median income, which is $97,000, you would qualify for this first-time home buyer program that would save you up to $270 a month. And that's actually the lowest amount it would save you. It could save you up to double of that a month on your mortgage. And so this is the first time across party, across geographic lines that we're coming together on somewhat of a simple concept, making it easier for people to get their first home, whether they are 22 or 45 or older, and they're looking to become a homeowner. This bill would enable that possibility. And for the first time, we're allowing, whether you are working class or middle class, we are actually creating this product for every single person up to the actual literal middle class of Wisconsin. And most programs don't do that. So I'm just deeply proud that we came up with a smart solution that is across the aisle, that it does not know geographic boundaries, that actually helps people get into a home where we know it's incredibly difficult right now.
So first, love Habitat for Humanity, unbelievable organization. And so, but trying to understand, so like, because with Habitat, they're building the house, right? There's sweat equity. They say hand up, not a hand out, and all of the things as far as actually building the homes. This is there also a part of this that is building the homes, or it is access to a 0% interest loan to buy existing homes?
So that's a really great question. So it is for building new homes. So basically, we're taking the Habitat model and expanding it, but not just for Habitat. So any nonprofit or municipality that is in the business of building new homes, and that's including developers, building new homes for income qualifying people up to 100% of AMI, this would supplement making that mortgage possible. Right. So what's exciting about this bill is that you basically are working with people who are interested in making sure working class people get a home, who are literally building and helping to build those homes. But what we've seen, even with these programs, is that it's becoming unaffordable, even when you're getting mostly donations to build housing and get a mortgage that's affordable to working families. So even when most of the materials are donated, when the land is donated, you're still seeing the cost of housing so high that working families can't afford it. This program supplements that type of programming and support to make sure that the mortgage itself is affordable for home buyers and stretches out the possibility so that their mortgage is not too high.
Got it. Okay. So then where does the money come from? Because obviously banks are not in the business of not making interest on their loans.
So this is actually taxpayer funding that would create a loan product here in the state. So as you know, there was about $500 million allocated for housing in the last biennium. Unfortunately, only about $22 million of that $500 million was able to get out of the door. And that's probably because we have to build better systems to get that money in the hands of people. And you know how the legislature can be. We kind of hamstring lots of abilities for that money to be spent. So we're taking some of that money that was already allocated for housing and turning it into a program that can get right out the door. And so this money was already allocated, currently unused, and then being moved into this bucket where we know that we can get out the door. We already have a slew of nonprofits and communities already doing this work. This would supplement that work and accelerate that work and be able to get that money out the door once it's passed. So this is actually no new taxpayer dollars, which Republicans love.
Yes,
but it's
of course.
also helping.
And taxpayers love.
Yeah, and it's helping working people, which liberals love, and we're finding a way to bring all those things together, that we can both be fiscally responsible, deal with some excess funds that could be used, repurposed, while also making sure that the most people can benefit from these programs and it's not tied down by red tape, and that it directly goes to families who will actually see a reduction in savings in the mortgage, at least at $270 a month.
Got it. All right, let's take a quick break and then come back and talk a little bit about how quickly this is moving, which is also unusual.
Yes.
Our guest is Wisconsin representative from the Green Bay area, Ahmad Rivera-Wagner. Stay with us on Point Taken.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scafidi from Milwaukee Weight Loss. Yes, I can't believe it, but you should believe it because I lost now 46 pounds since January. How did I do it? Milwaukee Weight Loss. Not the shots, not the gimmicky stuff, the meals, bars, shakes, just hard work, willpower, eating less, still get my 10,000 steps in, but it reset my metabolism because I've been off the reduction program for a while now, and I was actually still losing some weight. And the weight comes off. It's doctor-developed and natural and helped thousands of people just like me, and certainly you lose that body weight in just 8 weeks, then you got to maintain. Most people, 20, 30 pounds of weight loss. If you have a reunion or a wedding or a vacation you're looking forward to, this is the answer for you. It was for me. Milwaukee Weight Loss, incredible team. Their coaches are amazing. Part of the success story that I had was those coaches at Milwaukee Weight Loss. Schedule your free consultation today or go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com or call 262-393-2334. I'm reading it slow because somebody said, you're reading it too fast. 262-393-2334. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
You know the voice.
Fly ball, right field, out of here!
You know the iconic calls.
Fly ball, deep right! Back to back!
And you know he's our Brewers 360 guest on Wisconsin's Morning News. Every Wednesday at 8:45. It's Brewers broadcaster Jeff Levering. Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
Milwaukee College Prep, redefining what's educationally possible so more children can pursue their dream. Join me, Craig Karmazin, and Milwaukee College Prep Thursday, October 23rd at Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and take a stand in closing the opportunity gap for Milwaukee scholars. Your support means quality education is accessible to over 2,000 scholars in Milwaukee. Enjoy food, drinks, and a chance to learn more.
Purchase tickets at 2025 takeastand.givesmart.com. That's 2025 takeastand.givesmart.com.
Here's a penny for your thoughts. There's about 11,000 tire-related crashes every year.
Mostly due to driving around on underinflated, beat-up, worn-out tires with low tread.
A couple of clicks at richlawns.com will get you scheduled for a free tire tread test.
But if you're pressed for time, there's an old trick we use in the tire industry that'll tell you if you need tires.
And that's free, too.
My dad showed me, who learned it from his dad, who learned it from someone else way back in 1964.
Ah, yes. The old penny test.
Yep, just place a penny head first.
As in upside down.
Into the groove of your tire. Now, if you can see the top of Lincoln's head, you're due for tires.
And hey, if the free penny test frazzles you, book an appointment at richlawns.com.
If your tires are good,
no harm, no foul, because it won't cost you a penny. Be safe, buckle up, and hang. Always make sure you've got good tread in your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Rich Lawns. You're
due for service.
Such a refreshing change. Rich Lawns.
Keep the comfort in and the weather out with beautiful new windows and doors from Siding Unlimited. For ideas, go to our Siding Unlimited Instagram page. For a free estimate and honest price guarantee, go to sidingunlimited.com.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. We are talking to Wisconsin representative from the Green Bay area, Ahmad Rivera-Wagner, about his new bill that will give people access to 0% loans for housing. That's maybe a clunky way to describe everything that the bill does. But basically, one way to address the housing crisis that is happening in Wisconsin and across the nation. And the good news is something is happening that doesn't usually happen in the Wisconsin legislature. It's bipartisan. And so you were working with a Republican on this bill, and there's a fair amount of momentum, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I want to thank Rep. Armstrong and Rep. Knodel. I think not only is there momentum, it went through a hearing just last week, so we've been working on it for months. There was a press conference a week ago. There was a hearing just a few days ago, and it passed the Assembly Committee on Housing and Real Estate 13-0.
Wow.
So imagine that.
Wow.
There was not a single opposing voice, and stakeholder groups from across the state also spoke in favor. At this point, there is not a visible and or open opposition to the bill whatsoever. So you and I both know I'm new to the building.
You're a freshman.
First term. And so that I guess miracles can happen, but I'm crossing my fingers. It looks like it'll be on the floor next week, but it really is because the housing crisis does not respect the partisan dynamics of the state legislature, and it doesn't respect geographic boundaries. In Green Bay, you said so many things articulately around the nation and the state, we've gone from a median house price around $250,000 to closer to over $400,000 in less than a decade. If you were to go and look at housing right now in Green Bay, you'd only find 7 houses, 7 under $300,000 in the city of Green Bay. That is absolutely unacceptable for everyday people, whether you're a firefighter, a school teacher, a working mom, or a dad just trying to make things get by. It is literally inaccessible in a community that 10 years ago you could get a house for $180,000. And so this issue is just so much bigger than some of our partisan dynamics. And so I'm deeply grateful to Rep. Armstrong and so many other of my Republican colleagues who are all in favor of this bill through committee. And I think we're going to see it on the floor. You probably can hear in my voice the smile. You know, this is what I got into this work to do, was to prove to folks that there's a lot of issues that just do not respect the national and statewide politics that happen during elections. People want us to get things done, and so I'm deeply refreshed that that's happening. And this kind of bill also encourages to create more starter homes because families can afford the mortgages because of this supplemental. That means that banks will be more willing to give people mortgages when they're getting help and support. And so it really is a smart way to think through a complicated problem. It's not a silver bullet. It does not solve everything. But in Green Bay, we take care of each other. We just last week had a Habitat block party where we built 13 homes in an entire block of neighborhoods, single-family homes, and we had the entire community there. And we didn't ask people who they voted for. We didn't ask them how much money they made. We just asked them if they could help make home ownership possible for families, and they did. And it was the largest amount of new housing in this way in a really long time in our community. So this bill has that added spirit of people, like in Green Bay, taking care of one another.
So is there any discussions on how the Senate might react to this bill? Is there anything that's mirroring it on that side?
You ask them always very smart. You know, the Senate is a mysterious place that both Republicans and Democrats have seen some of their dreams turn into nightmares. But hope does spring eternal, in my opinion. I think that there seems to be a lot of support for this bill in both caucuses. I'm hoping that energy does carry over to the Senate. But as you know, the Senate hasn't met as frequently as the Assembly. There is on the books, it sounds like there is a Senate date for the 14th. So to your point that you made earlier, if this happens, this is going to be potentially passed next week, and then it may be on the floor of the Senate on the 14th. And it would be something that we did fast. We did it in a bipartisan way. We found money to do it, and we're going to get that money out quickly. So I'm grateful for everyone involved, including the governor's office and WIDA, who obviously supported this work and helped us fine-tune this bill. But there, it could actually look like the legislature.
Representative, unfortunately,
legislation.
I got to let you go because we got to wrap up the show. But thank you so much. Good luck. It seems like this is headed in the right direction. It's a great bill. Hopefully we see it before the end of the year come into law. But thank you so much for your time today. Wisconsin Representative Ahmad Rivera Wagner.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Absolutely. We'll be back and wrap up the show quickly after this.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scafidi for Annex Wealth Management. If you're part of the Wisconsin Retirement System Pension Program, join Annex for a specialized webinar, Understanding Your WRS Pension. It happens Tuesday, October 21st at 3:30. Join me and members of the Annex Financial Planning Team who have significant experience navigating WRS. More details and sign up at annexwealth.com/events. Know the difference. Unlike advisors who push commission products, Annex prioritizes your best interests. Their experienced team integrates all aspects of wealth management, retirement planning, investment strategies, tax optimization, and estate planning under one roof. With 8 Wisconsin locations for in-person consultations and flexible virtual meetings via Zoom, Annex ensures accessibility and convenience, meeting you where you are. Whether you're exploring Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, or Annex Ignite, their solutions are customized to fit. Visit annexwealth.com. Click on the now famous Get Started button to begin the conversation on creating a personalized financial plan. That's at Annex Wealth Management, annexwealth.com.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Do you have a spot that's too cold in the winter, but if you jack up the heat, the rest of the house is too warm? Vince Vitrano for USA Insulation. Time to get Jeff and his team out to your house. Proper insulation from USA forms a thermal barrier that maintains warmth in the winter and coolness in the summer. Time to get in on thousands of dollars of government efficiency credits. Jeff and his team at USA Insulation find the grants, rebates, reductions, and they discount the cost of your project up front. Get started at usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Cheese doodles, Mr. Nougat Bar. Oh, here we go. 4-door hatchback.
Some things are fine to buy from a vending machine, but a car is not one of them. The national online company makes it seem convenient, but it won't be so convenient if you have a problem with the vehicle you buy. And if it's after 7 days, good luck. Adam member dealers also let you search online, plus test drive the vehicle before you buy it. And they're right here to handle any issues.
What? The car's stuck. No!
Start your search at adam.com.
The Fox and Hound Supper Club is hiring qualified kitchen expediters, ensuring food quality is at its highest standard. And bussers. You'll make real money working nights and weekends. Parents, tell your kids, inquire today, start next week. It's the real deal. Contact the Fox and Hounds.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Well, Milwaukee Public School children are still being screened for lead, and Milwaukee Health Commissioner Dr. Michael Todoritis says the focus on those screenings will continue into early 2026.
Bringing you the latest in news, sports, traffic, and weather.
The sheriff's major crash assistance team is on the scene, and that intersection will be shut down for several hours. Please avoid the area.
Every weekday from noon until 3 p.m. Only on WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Big thanks to all of our guests today, Dr. Marcus Brower, Alex Jaquez from Groundwork Collaborative, and Representative Ahmad Rivera Wagner. Tomorrow, Judge Mary will be here. I know we have lots of fans of Judge Mary. Jim Santel will be here. We will talk about the coming term for SCOTUS. We will talk about whether or not the president can use the Insurrection Act to deploy troops. Lots of things to discuss with our legal minds. We'll have Ask Me Anything, since Steve will still not be here. And so we'll have another great show tomorrow. But Midday News is next. Have a great day.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, a weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market, how it affects Wisconsin businesses and residents. It's sponsored by the original Knowledge Broker, R&R Insurance. And joining me today is Jeff Salazinski. He's Executive Vice President of Insurance